Okay, cool. Should we let people into the...
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're live on Twitch as well. So yeah, here we go. Twitch. Yep, we're live. All right, so view, admit all. Boom. Is everyone joining? Okay, cool. Yeah, you can see people joining. Awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm gonna let everyone in. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Cool, cool, cool. All right, we're admitting everyone in. Cool. Hello, everyone. Welcome. You're probably muted. I don't know if you can unmute yourself or we have to let you unmute, but so how we're gonna go about it is that especially if it's like your work and you want to like say something before we like review your work, like basically we'll have like a list and we'll just go down the list. So if your name comes up, you know, we'll like say like, oh, are you here, so and so? If so, do you want to say anything about your work before we just hit play? And then we'll just kind of provide feedback. So I'm just here kind of as like a just moderator, and I'm just gonna let Markus and Daniel kind of like provide the feedback. But yeah, so that's to introduce just our mentors. I'll let them do it as well. But Markus is our new mentor joining us. He's been at Blizzard. Basically, he has a crazy amount of experience in the game industry, so he knows everything that you need to know about game animation, hopefully. So yeah, Markus is like your go-to guy for anything game animation related. And Daniel Klug here, he's also been in the industry for a while, especially at Disney Animation. He was like a Disney supervisor for a couple of times. So yeah, he worked on a lot of the movies that you probably have seen. And then now he's also decided to move over to Blizzard to work on Overwatch 2. So they're kind of like in a team together. But yeah, I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. So go ahead.
Hey, thanks, Sean. Yeah, I'm Daniel Klug. Hello, everybody. I'm been teaching for a while now and animating for much longer than that. Let's see. Yeah, like Sean said, we worked together at Disney. I started in 2010, 11 or something on Wreck-It Ralph, and basically worked all the way up until Raya and the Last Dragon. And that was a lot of fun. I got to supervise on Moana and Ralph 2, and then yeah, just crazy world happened, and then there was this offer I couldn't refuse, and then I got to follow my childhood dream of becoming a Blizzard animator. So I am on Team 4 working at Blizzard alongside this awesome dude, Markus Hammarstedt. Go ahead, take it away. That's enough about me.
Thanks. Yeah, hi, I'm Markus. I've been working at Blizzard for like 3.5 years, a little bit more. Been in the game industry for like 14, 15 years soon. Worked on a bunch of games like Overwatch, Overwatch 2, and previously games like Anthem, the Wolfenstein games, Brothers, Tale of Two Sons, Bulletstorm, KYOSIL for Judgment, and so on, a bunch of them. So yeah, if you have any game dev questions or game animation questions, hit me up. One of the newer mentors at KYOSIL, really excited to teach them animation and yeah, help people grow as game developers and animators.
Cool. Awesome. Well, welcome, guys. Sorry, I'm just like making sure that all the audio is working and audio is working. Let me just make sure. Everyone, is the audio level good for you guys? Just double check. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Cool. All right. So with that said, I think we can get started. We have a lot of submissions, so hopefully we can get to a lot of them. So we already apologize in advance in case we don't get to everyone, but we'll do our best to kind of like provide like a little bit of feedback for each person. So yeah, cool. Let's go down the list. All right.
If we don't get to everybody, we might just have to do this again someday.
There you go. There you go. Or you can sign up.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Okay, cool.
All right, so let's see. I have the list too. I was gonna get started at just the person on the top. This isn't alphabetical order or anything. This is I think maybe I don't want to Bing that. That's gross. This is maybe order of submission. I'm not actually sure. Maybe it got randomized. But up first, we've got Guillermo Fuenes. Is Guillermo here? We should probably make sure that
That's a really good
our
idea.
attendee is here.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's joining now.
Hey, connecting to audio. Nice.
Yeah. And also, it should be noted that as we look at your stuff, if you have any thoughts, and we'll probably ask you questions as well, feel free to unmute yourself, and we can have a discussion together.
Yeah. And
Very cool.
If you don't want to say anything, or if you just want to use a chat, that's fine too. If you don't want to show yourself. Yep.
Here we go. I'm sharing screen. I'll make sure Guillermo gets in here. Let's see. Ask to unmute. I can ask to unmute him. I can ask to start video. Hey, there we go. Guillermo, what's up?
Feel free, use the chat or unmute yourself if you want to say hi.
Oh yeah, let me get that chat going on. Nice. If not, you can type in, hey Guillermo. He said hi.
Okay.
I just would love to hear if there's any like caveats or setups before we hit play, or should we just like watch it? And you tell us what you want feedback on. Like what are you working on that you're wanting to zero in on or get our feedback from? I'll give it a few seconds before I hit play. Otherwise, I'm just gonna like tear into it, like just real mercilessly, as animators do.
I guess we go for it.
Let's do it. We're just gonna give you our thoughts. All right, hit play. This should be it's a little stuttery because it's on 2s, but it is optimized for video.
He said it's a work in progress. He would like to get feedback in poses and timing.
That's cool, man. I love moving cameras. Yeah, for me, there's a lot of really good clarity here. There's like a couple things I kind of bump on, and let's see, I probably one of them is like this fade out here of like the first guy. This is like an odd clarity thing. Like it's just as far as storytelling goes, I don't know if you might want to like just cut straight into the action or something, or that is kind of a weird jump cut, but something about that like fade out and fade in, I don't know. I do love this pose here as he's getting into it. Like this is really cool. I would try to hold this as much as possible, and as you're getting into it, trying to make sure you keep that silhouette as broken as possible so you can make this as clear as possible. I don't know if he has the ability to like scale up this fist, but I would try. It's just like one of those things where it's like, we're supposed to look here. So if you can, I'd try to add a little bit more to that pose and hang out there as long as possible. Like kind of skip through these poses where he's starting to foreshorten and get silhouettes, tangenting like that, and blocking his face. But yeah, like skip through. I almost want to like skip through this pose here, like hang out here a little bit longer, skip through that and definitely get to this contact. That's gonna be awesome. When you do get to the contact, I would love to see like that connection where he's just like putting his fist in this dude's face, but like with the guy's like tusk and everything just being folded in. If you want to see good reference of this, I would check out in all movies, Frozen. I'm sorry, but there's this shot where like Anna like grabs Hans and like decks him in the face. It was animated by Andrew Chesworth. Is an awesome animator out there, and he like folds in Hans's face around her fist. It'd be like all punches, I feel like, should be like that incredibly gooey and just destructive to whoever's getting punched.
We have a question in the chat.
Oh yeah,
if it's
can I
okay
enable
to
recording?
Yeah, if it's allowed to record.
I think we're going to leave this to be picked up by the Twitch VODs, or I don't know. Sean has more words to say about that.
Yeah. If anything, we'll just like let it live on Twitch for a little bit, but it's probably going to be very temporary because I think someone asked about it, but we'll probably just leave it live as is, just in case, because we don't want to like step on any toes and anything. So If you want to record like your own section through your own computer, you can, but from our side, we probably won't record. So take as much notes as possible. So whatever way that is, just feel free to do that. Cool.
Thanks, Sean. For this pose, I'd try to like really antic this elbow and get that broken, like get that joint up really high, right? There's something really cool about like just every time elbows and like joints kind of like hide behind foreground limbs, it gets a little muddy, right? So I'm always trying to look for a way. Hopefully you guys can see my camera. I'm not sure if you can, but hopefully you can still see kind of like that where the joint actually breaks, right? Just that visibility is pretty important. So I try to do that as much as possible. And then in here, when he gets punched, this is kind of a bummer, but like we're actually losing a lot of it like behind this dude's arm, right? We spend kind of a lot of time in this pose. I wonder if there's a way to like, when this dude gets punched, I wonder if we can like pull this guy's arms back or something, but then we lose the face. We don't want to do that. But I'm going to point at this problem. I don't have the immediate solution, but I'm just going to say like, hey, let's try not to hide that fist. Maybe his arm just gets blasted back real quick, right?
It also lift it up a little bit. Try to just have it higher.
Smart. That's smart, yeah. And then there's this other thing too. Definitely love this knee. I'll push this knee like and actually get him. Let's see. Like as much as possible, like make that knee just super huge. He does like a power up on his fist. Green guy, right? Yeah. He's got this thing going on. I didn't see that until like I watched it maybe like 2 or 3 times. If you can make it real clear that he's like doing something to his fist back here, that would be really cool. Because like I said, that was one of those things where I didn't really see until I watched it a couple times. Like I thought maybe like this sphere was kind of doing like a smear frame or something. I would actually, try to put a little bit more work into like getting this antic. Maybe this needs to happen kind of out here, and again like get those joints up there, just so you can see it. And if whatever this is going to turn into, fire or something, or just whatever, have like a little shockwave come off of it, but just have him like do a little antic before then throwing it into the dude's face and missing, of course. Kidney shot. Awesome. Those are my big notes. Marcus, do you have anything?
Yeah, I share a lot of the same sentiment.
Oh, that's awesome that you can control it from your end.
Yeah. Basically showing more of the body parts. But I think, let's see. I'm just gonna go through it. I am just gonna go through it real quick. I need to move my window so I actually speak into the microphone. Nice. I was thinking similarly on the opening. I was a bit curious what the idea behind this shot was. If you want like an establishing shot for the characters and the fight overall, maybe there's a way where you can make this into showing both of the characters, either like first this one and then the other from a different angle, showing that you actually have 2 characters, or showing both of the characters right away and then do a cut into the fight. Another suggestion I would have would actually to be go right from this into the running. So basically animate like a start running kind of thing where you see that he's looking at something and then he starts running and then he speeds up and then you're already over here. And then you realize, oh, that's what he was looking at, right? Because this fade out makes it feel a little bit disconnected to me. Let's see. I really agree with trying to show the face and the contact point here. I would also try to find a way to amp up the reaction here. This might be easier when you go into splining, but both this reaction and the reaction here almost feels like they do like a slight hop rather than being pushed because of the force to their face. And I think there might be something that you can do to kind of either make them lift earlier, but then also push. Do I have drawing enabled on this? Also push this posing, so he's really pushed back and lift it off, right?
You're talking about the reaction of the person getting hit, right?
Exactly, yes, the reaction.
Yeah.
Because it feels like he gets hit, and then it takes a few frames before he's actually up here, and here he almost looks like he recovered. I would love to see like just a bigger reaction, push him even more, so you can see that something is wrong, right? And then he kind of catches himself over here. I love that he misses. That's so cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Smart cut too. On the. That's cool. Here it's a shame that we don't see the victor. Like I would love to see him like stand there, like all powerful. I think some of the poses in this run, it feels like the leg. This is like nitpicky, and I'm sure you'll get to it when you go into splining. But it feels like he's reaching out like really, really far ahead of him as he runs. Like especially here, he does kind of a hop. But yeah, it's something to look out for. But yeah, that's about the things that I reacted to, and I second the idea to really get as much of this hang time as you can. Like this is great. This is like my favorite frame in this entire video. It's great. Super cool, man.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks, Guillermo.
Thanks, Guillermo.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So next up,
Let's see. Up next, we've got David Fernandez. David, are you there? Let's see.
I don't see him in the list, so.
Uh-oh. Access denied. Oh, no. Wait, did I? Hang on.
Yeah.
Is this me?
No, I think this is him, because I messaged. I think this is the person I messaged. So I don't think they've gotten to it. So it's okay. Let's just.
We gotta skip David.
Yeah, we'll skip David.
He's like, look at my animation, but don't look. I'm not ready to show. Up next, we've got Ahmad. Ahmad, are you there?
He's in the call.
He is. Yes. Asked to unmute. Asked to start video. Do you have a mic? Do you have a video? If not, you can throw it up in the chat. I'll give you 1 minute before.
Yeah. Similarly, is there anything specific you want us to take a look at? Is there anything specific you want feedback on and such?
Awesome. You know, I've got sound sharing. I see there's some sound up in here. Gonna check out his reel. I'm excited.
He's
hey.
Typing in the chat.
Hello.
Right. I'll hit play, and you can lay out anything that you want us to focus on, or just general thoughts, whatever. All right, let's hit it. Oh, hang on. Wait, it's a little quiet. I'm just going to boost it up here. Let me know if it's too loud.
Made you special breakfast.
You can't cook.
Hey, Mary, open up. You look beautiful.
I look like a Disney character.
I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying you don't gotta think on your feet. Bend a few rules, maybe. But it's worth it.
Me? I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
All right, you got me.
Oh my
That's
god.
amazing.
That was cool. Yeah, definitely leave that shot on your reel because that is awesome. Good giggle.
That's hilarious.
Let's see. Love if you give some overall feedback on the reel. And if you'd like to dissect any shot in depth of your choice, please do. All right, cool. I want to check out this first one again.
Made you special breakfast.
Wait, hang on. Let me see. Yeah, he starts from this pose.
Made you special breakfast.
You can't cook.
Hey, Mary, open up. You look beautiful.
I look like a Disney character.
I'm not saying.
I would say like this is a good idea for a shot. I think it's kind of relatable, like, you know, someone sitting outside their, you know, the door of, I don't have kids, but I've been on the other side of a door of, like, say someone I'm arguing with or someone like, come on, we need to go. So it's like, I kind of get that. There's this moment at the beginning where he kind of has a thought where he's like, I'm going to bribe her with breakfast, right?
Made you special.
Right? But like, I think we've passed through that too fast to really get it. I didn't realize that until I was like thinking about it later, and I kind of watched it twice when we stopped and for the sound. But I think like every time you want to go and show thought process, I would try to like add a little bit more time there just to let it register. Having characters like have an idea, and so this is like a no, I'm not gonna get that. That's it. All I would say is sorry. There's no reaction here, so it's mainly just him coming up with an idea. I just want to see like the idea appear in his head, and then the calculation of how he's going to use it, and then the execution of it. And if you kind of break those down into distinct phases, then he'll actually be able to show thought process a lot better. So having the thought, then understanding like what that thought could mean, then having him like antic into then telling her, I think that moment would play out a lot better.
Made you special.
And he's kind of doing a little sly too, like made you special breakfast, and if you wanted to, you could like add just a little bit more of that kind of, you know, Flynn Rider face to it, little asymmetrical brows and stuff, because, you know, you're kind of getting there with like the angle of the face and everything, but you could push that maybe a little further as well.
Special breakfast.
You can't cook.
Hey, Mary.
And then that like, damn it,
You can't cook.
she's on to me. I think the reaction feels almost so overbaked, like, ugh, and then he's moving. I think you could do each of these actions maybe a little quicker and tighter. That's another sort of common thing I see is like almost everyone's reaction has like the same amount of time and energy. And when I say energy, I kind of mean spacing, where it's like how many frames it takes to do an action and kind of like how far it travels, right? If every sort of like action or acting choice in the shot has the same level to it, then nothing really stands out as like, this is like the important one. So when I could see him like doing the little sly thing and like, hey, I made you special breakfast, and when she's like, you can't cook, and you're like, damn it, you know, like having like a tighter moment instead of like the really large, almost like overacted. Dang it.
And to kind of
yeah, go for it.
Just to riff on that, because this is kind of a quick moment, like you talked about earlier. I wonder if there's even a way, another alternate version of that would be, because to me he looks really upset. I wonder if it would add to the comedy if he had kind of like a stunned reaction, like, why would my really tiny daughter tell me that, right? Like, oh, like if he was really surprised by the answer, or like that might be kind of funny. And then kind of to that, then finding the idea and going into a major special breakfast, that's like the big action. And then you have like this more subtle, quick action change in demeanor where he goes, oh, right? Where you
right, just like from that to that, like what?
Yeah, exactly. You know?
Yeah. I like that idea. That's cool.
It'd be kind of funny. And then, yeah, it's probably easier. And then it's, you know, and then he goes into the bigger action where he turns around and he does this thing.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't expecting that answer. Instead of becoming angry, knowing like he expected it, he becomes like stunned because he really didn't expect it. And then he needs to change strategies. Yeah.
I like this pose, by the way. Like, this is really cool. Like, this is kind of what I mean by like, this is kind of pretty relatable. One thing I would think about though, because again, these really are really nice angles in here. I would also try avoid having say like the chest like perfectly profile to us, because you get almost like a zero read on like kind of his sort of musculature. And so it's like, as far as like anatomy goes, like instead of going like perfectly profile the camera, I don't know where my camera is, it's like just treat a little bit outward, just a little bit, so you get to see kind of like maybe where the collarbone is on the shoulder, and then where the chest ends over here. I don't know, like I think that would push the shoulder back and give you an even stronger line. But yeah, it's one thing I would just watch out for, is like just any kind of body part that's like angled like perfectly 90 degrees from camera or like perfectly at camera. But yeah, but generally I really dig this pose. This is great.
You look beautiful.
And then
You look beautiful.
there's this moment here where he says like, "You look beautiful."
You look beautiful.
Look beautiful. I feel like there's a level of sincerity here that he's like almost hitting. Like it doesn't feel sarcastic at all. But there's also like, it could be push. I like if he is very sincere about it. Again, it's like my Disney training is kicking in, where it's like I would like really commit to like, oh, like how could I ever be mad at you? That kind of attitude. And maybe there's something to,
You look beautiful.
you look beautiful, like tilting his head just slightly. I think like that might add a lot to the sincerity of this moment, right? Like right now he kind of like picks up, which I think that's the thing that I'm reacting to. But I love me some head tilt, just the same expression, but just adding a little bit of softness with a head tilt, like does wonders. So, yeah.
I would almost see, like, regarding the facial expression, to me this comes off as very, very cheesy almost. I wonder if there's a way, or if you would want to try having more like the head tilt and stuff, but make it more into a smile, or like what a supportive dad would do, right? I'm just curious if there's probably some facial expression that you can do where it feels even more supportive. But yeah.
What?
Yeah, I kind of wonder. I wonder what that is. I was, because like you're Marcus, you're right. You're kind of poking at something that like I was also reacting to. Like, now I went the head tilt route, but yeah, and to be honest, like I can't draw well enough to like just redraw his expression in this stage. But maybe there's something to like kind of getting out of the ooh that's also a smile, which is a very difficult expression, to then just going to just like a subtle smile. I think that might help.
I almost want to open
even
up his
like
eyes a little bit
asymmetrical.
more and like relax his eyebrows maybe.
Yeah, there's something about maybe like the half lid that kind of
Yeah.
makes him feel a little tired, which might be a little. Yeah, I could see that. Maybe it's something like that. We kind of like throw it off to the side just a little bit, and then maybe like the brows, maybe just like relaxing them just slightly, because it feels just a little.
This is something personally I would scour the internet for a lot of references and try to think of family movies where you have like an actor doing a supportive dad role. See if you can find something.
Yeah, cool. No, actually, that helped a lot. But then yeah, still head tilt and do your research for sure. Awesome. Okay. And then
I look like a Disney character.
look at Disney character. Look at Disney character. Look at Disney.
So
There's
if I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
jump
please.
in here real quick,
Please
there's something
do.
about her arm and her body posture that is like she's talking about something but not herself. I wonder if there's a way where you can make her like, I don't know, if you can gesture at herself or something rather than, I don't know, it feels like she's gesturing or making a point about something else rather than about what she looks like. It's probably also something I would play around with in reference.
That's cool. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that. That's awesome. What I was thinking, like, what if she was holding an Elsa doll? I'm sorry, Frozen's coming back, but like, I love like a Disney princess.
The other thing too is I feel like I'm a bit sad that a lot of the screen is taken up by this door. I kind of want to see more of her, almost. Something I reacted to. But I like the shot, like that he's coming in from the left and she's from the right, so I don't want to lose that.
Yeah, like it feels like she's on this third, but maybe it's like maybe you also want like a full body shot of her, or maybe just cropped in a little.
Maybe
bit
just
more,
open the door more if there's more environment there. Maybe that would help.
I would also be careful. Like this is like super nitpicky, but I'd try to like hide this little strip of lid that you have on this side, and just go to the eye, because something about that feels, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to like fix it with this, but like there's something about that a little strip of skin. I know like when you render it won't show up, but it still shows up here, and it's always like adds this extra like visual flavor to that you don't really want. Disney princess, yeah, awesome. That was it. Like I really enjoy the acting of this, like the conceit of the shot and kind of the execution that you're going down. Like you're making good choices here. It's like, yeah, just pushing like a little further.
This is my
here
favorite facial expression right here. This is great. He's like,
right. That's cool. Yeah. Let's see.
Move forward to another shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go for it. I think we can give it one more shot. Let me scroll up through real quick because I remember like there's dude.
There was something about the body mechanic
wizard
stuff that I kind of wanted to hit a little bit.
Yeah. Me too. Which shot like kind of demonstrated the body mechanic stuff?
That
this
was
one?
The previous one, yeah.
Or this one? Oh, okay.
The one running through the hallway or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Kind of like going through here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's something I reacted to a little bit, if I may.
Go for it. Yeah.
I love the slide here. That's really cool.
Nice smear frame.
Yeah, for sure. I would overall try to amp that up a little bit more. You can like increase the spacing here a little bit, or sorry, make the spacing quicker here and smear him like way more, and kind of play that.
So basically,
up
doing the action in fewer frames, but then just using more of the smear to like justify the spacing.
Exactly, yeah, because it's like as soon as I see him here, I kind of understand what's going on, and he's dodging this, right? So he can probably come in here and like do like a smear here, right? And then kind of have this amazing action going on. Have like a strong line of action with his leg or something like that. I don't know. I'm awful at drawing. Anyways, and then I would probably try to like reach with the legs here into the wall, and then kind of bend them, the boxes, and bend them as he hits them, and then see if you can make the boxes wobble a little bit. Would be nice.
That's such a good point, and that's kind of like a general rule for everyone in every shot ever. Like if you have any excuse to interact with the environment and like bump into a table, it shakes a little bit, or like you're in a chair and it moves a little bit, it's like have your characters interact with their environment as much as possible, because it goes a long way to like make your character feel alive, like part of the environment.
I would also, I love this idea of having these kind of bump after him. I would do that with more of them. Like that would be cool. Dun, 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 and then they just jump in again. It's just a fun detail. But anyways, my point is, I see that you move the boxes here later. I would just try to like increase the impact here and make it way snappier, like you know. And then here, I love this that he's fighting back. But there's something here where the hip kind of feels a little bit floaty, and he kind of, I'm not sure how he moves forward in space here, to be honest. So I'd probably play around with reference a little bit and try to record this motion and see if you can nail that a little bit. But I love the get up, and then as he runs forward, that's really cool. And again with this like dragging sphere behind, it's really cool.
Yeah, +1 to all that. That's good stuff.
Really cool. But yeah, Daniel, did you have anything you wanted to hit?
No, you hit it. That's a good way to kind of like demonstrate sort of like there's some nuance in body mechanics, and it's these like little tiny, actions that I get myself kind of caught up with some, Yeah, basically like a small part in a larger shot, and I'll have to go back and shoot reference just of this like one part. I try to get my body into the same pose my character is in, and just film that. And also every time you shoot reference, this is for everybody, shoot it full body. Like even if your character is like waist up, like shoot your full body so you know if like there's a weight shift and your feet move, you know when to move your feet for your character. That brings so much life to it again. And yeah, I would definitely like shoot some ref of that spot just to see what it's like to scramble up from that position.
Another idea would be to, instead of doing, because I think what you're trying to do is drag him, so he like goes down and then drags himself to the side and then gets up. You could, to be honest, just go from here, like from there into this action right away, if you wanted to.
Yeah, the reason the drag doesn't show is because there's no shape change of the arm. Like it's pitching away from us in Z, like almost perfectly, and you can't really tell that there's movement there. So it looks like he's sliding.
Yeah, but if you have like a big, it goes forward in screen space here, right? Like these frames. But then if he, after that, just like started going, like after scrambling down this way, he gets up again this way. Then you have these big shape changes. We can probably also, it's because this, I love this, that he's being chased, right? And there's fire, and it's kind of interesting to look at, like these lighting effects and stuff. I wonder if you want to keep that going here. So like he fires back, and then he starts running because the other person keeps firing at him, right? So like the danger is still there.
Like as he's like dodging out of the way, maybe that box that he just bounced off of gets exploded or something.
Yeah, he just dodged it. So like the reason he goes from here and then he just goes boom, right? And then this gets blown.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and runs away. Something like that.
Yeah, it's fun
stuff. I don't know. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks, Ahmad.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I should probably move on to another one. We have a lot of them.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see. Up next, we have. I gotta go down. Is this Daniel? Hang on, let me paste.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You know,
thank you for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much fun to see. Yeah, you guys, like everyone here is super talented.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Is Daniel in here? Doesn't look like he is. Or she. Oh my gosh. There's my bias. Let's see. Sean, we're cool like giving feedback for people who aren't here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Or do we want to make...
Okay. I mean...
We should probably prioritize the ones that are here.
That's true.
Yeah, you know, you're right. You're right.
Let's go to Mood.
Mood's here.
What you have going on? Hello.
Yeah. And Mood was Mood was here before at KYOSIL. He took a class with Boris Maris from Disney, I believe. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Very cool. Let's see. All right. Let me full screen this.
You have anything
and
specific?
Mood. Yeah, anything you want to set up or caveats? Or?
Yeah, no, nothing.
All right. What are you looking for feedback on? Just anything in particular, or just general thoughts?
I would know what should I do after these shots. I mean, what's the next step for me?
Ooh, gotcha. Do you have like a studio that you want to apply for? Or like what type of studio you want to like?
Feature films. Feature animation. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right. Let's take a look. See what you got so far.
You wanted a job, I'm giving it to you. Sink or swim.
You're sure about that?
No! That's why I called you guys.
No. Never heard of it.
Oh man. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna play this again.
You wanted a job, I'm giving it to you. Sink or swim.
You're sure about that? No! That's why I've called you guys.
No. Never heard of her.
Cool. Okay, so let's see. I would say that, like, what to focus on now? Like, I would love to see some, like, a two-person shot in which one character is acting on the other. Like, right now, there's a lot of characters kind of, like, existing in their own bubble. Like, this guy picking up the 2D animated steak, which is so weird, and I really do enjoy that. That's awesome. But to really kind of, like, push your mechanics to the next level and show that technical ability, having characters like interact and maybe generally just like full body acting, like this is your only full body shot and it's the guy walking in. I'd love to see, this is pretty good actually as far as like him coming into a stop, but then you don't get to see like the entire sit, so it's like there's just a little bit missing. So I wouldn't say like that's what's missing from your reel. It's more like what could you do to level this up? And it's like one character like hanging on another character, or like, you know, like they give them a heavy box or something. It's like really showing that kind of like forced transfer, or actually two characters that maybe even better that are totally different in scale and size, right? So maybe like a short skinny and then like tall and huge, and like how the tall and huge character would move as opposed to the short and like the light character, basically. That way you have two different styles in the same shot. I think that would be a good level up. But yeah, seeing those forces and seeing the shot full body, I think will be super big. That would be my advice. Yeah, Marcus, do you have any thoughts?
I was gonna bring up something similar that I would love to see some more. Like most of these are very, very calm and slow, and they're usually like most of them are very close up, and it seems like you focus a lot on facial animation. But I would love to see some bigger body mechanics, which is what Daniel was alluding to. Like two characters interacting with each other is great, but even just having the one character that does like a big body motion of some kind would be really helpful.
All right.
Yeah, like seeing someone like just Kool-Aid Man straight through a wall or something. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, maybe there is something to that, like just a totally like high energy shot, or like a character that can't stop moving and they're like hyped up on caffeine or something, you know. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Or, you know, just under duress and they're just agitated. Yeah. This is I will go back to this shot of like the cartoon steak though. This is neat. I don't know why.
That's a cool idea. I like that.
I do have one thought about this. Is this supposed to be like, this is like a rotten piece of meat, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
There's something like odd, like the meat looks so good. I don't know what it is, but it's like, it looks like the cartoon meat, like from a Warner Brothers cartoon, where it's like, you know, when the character is like so hungry that they look at their friend and then their friend just turns into a steak or something. It looks like that, where it's like, oh, delicious. So I wonder if like, I don't know, in like a close up or something, there's like this like moldy black spot or something, and like, I don't know. I'm just trying to justify like why is this smell gross? It looks so good.
I also wonder, why is he so excited about finding a raw steak on the ground? But that's the thing, it kind of fits the cartoon vibe, right? It's like a cartoony steak. It's like, it's a cartoon steak, of course it's great.
Yeah, and it has that effect of like, kind of like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, where it's like the background is like this, you know, gouache painting, and then there's like the one piece that's like brightly colored versus everything else. So it's like, all right, that thing's gonna move, like they're gonna pick that up. That's the brick on the wall they're gonna press, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, that's it. I was just wondering, like, oh wait, why is it so gross? And then I don't. You've probably put this down, and you're never gonna touch it again. But I kind of wonder if there, like, if it is really gross, I wonder if there's like a face where he gets over and it's like he just really commits to like how gross it is. Like this is kind of a grimace, like ugh. But I would push like 100 and 200% into the just how disgusting it was that he got those fumes in his nostrils. Maybe even like shade him like green or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking of like how could you attack it like really heavily. But yeah, that was the only other thought I had about this.
If you want to go to the last shot, I was curious about, or something that stood out a little bit to me was it's a bit trickier because this isn't sync sketch. We can't check control. Yeah.
No. Never heard of it.
Yeah.
So I
you have like a pose that you're going for, or yeah.
No, it's just a general thought. I love the vibe of this shot overall. It's really cool. It's a nice setup for sure. But I wonder if there is like a way to get even more sadness in there to push the poses a little bit. I don't know if you want to do like her trembling a little bit in the lips or something like that. It's like kind of she almost looks a bit angry in the beginning rather than like super defeated, but the ending that you have is super defeated, right? She's really, really sad and just comes to the fact of like, no, I can't be honest. That's what it feels like to me anyways. Body motion feels really good. And then something I reacted to as well was that I was watching this without audio and I had a really hard time seeing what she was saying from her lips. And I feel like maybe you need to take a step back and kind of simplify the animation a little bit and really hit the notes. Especially like if I'm trying to look for the word him, like which is the last word that she says. I don't quite see her hit those notes. If that makes sense.
Yep.
So it'll be something to focus on for this one.
Cool. Yeah.
Very, very cool though.
That's
very
one of those
strong shot.
I know this is tough to get those straight upper eyelids too.
Another thing too with this is especially, yeah, for sure. And I've actually speaking of the face, something I reacted to as well. I don't know like what rig this is, but to me the mesh looks a little bit broken on like the lower eyebrow. I would try to keep things on the model and avoid like breaking the rig and try to like have those appealing shapes without breaking the mesh.
Yep.
Cool.
Awesome. Cool. Should we go to the next person?
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Mood.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing. Right. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think David, I believe, is back, and his link is now working because before it was
Whoa.
It was private, so he said he fixed it.
Yeah, my apologies about that, guys.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, David.
Welcome.
Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, for sure. So, would you like to set us up, or do any caveats or something before you hit play?
I mean, basically, this is just everything that I did during my time at Animation Mentor. That's about it.
All right.
I'm very fresh to the scene, so I'm just looking for any kind of feedback that can help me with getting started.
Cool. All right, let's hit it.
Man, I know you're still sad because Robert broke up with you, so I brought you some.
Oh, he dead. he's dead. Nice. There's some fun ideas in here, man. I really enjoy it. Let's see.
Man, I know you're still sad because Robert broke up with you, so I brought you some.
I like that reaction.
This is a funny shot, man. It's just hilarious.
How much he steps back feels so good. It's so appropriate. I really, really dig that. I don't know what it is, but like the voice of this dinosaur sounds like a kid or like a baby. It's like ah. I don't know. It's weird, but like not in a way that I don't like. It's like it's weird. Maybe I like it because of that. Okay, and then the end. So this, I would push how much energy he has when he's screaming like Max. It feels like his body motion, like his body language, isn't tense while he's holding the door and he's like screaming. And I think it's because maybe he's got a little too much, sort of like. He's a little too much movement, right? He's kind of like twisting slowly as he's yelling. In order to like really sell like a full like belly yell, like the character, like basically your muscles lock up, like your core locks up. So I would kind of make him tense and hold that pose as long as possible before like slamming that door closed. And then go for like slamming that door closed instead of like closing it slowly. That was like the last thing. It feels like maybe the end isn't as high energy as it implies it should be. That was my big reaction to it. And in one of the ways to do that too, it's like that. I would like put his head on an animation layer and then like shake it, like just vibrate, like a rotate Y or something, and just that like left right, like just the high frequency like. On his scream, and then maybe even like play with like the layer weight of that noise layer just to really just add that texture. You're looking for that like that gritty yell, that really gritty loud yell. But then yeah, in order to do that, to be able to read like a high frequency head vibration, his body needs to be still enough to be able to do that. So yeah, that's where I'd sort of put my rupees into adding more effort into the shot. It'd be like that scream at the end. Make that high energy.
Sorry, can I take control?
Yeah, absolutely, please.
I was just curious. I just wanted to.
There you go.
See, I just wanted to watch this bit. So I really like the idea of him trying to. I don't know if you can mute it if you want. On your
yeah.
End,
Let me do that.
I like this ending and what Daniel was talking about. I think this kind of backing up slowly is what is a bit confusing to me. I wonder if you would want to try to, let me see. Kind of, basically what I'm trying to get at is reach this position quicker. I love the fumbling for the door, and I wonder if you can do that earlier. Like, basically this character's first thought is to get back and close the door as soon as possible. So rather than doing this wave stuff with the left arm, basically try to reach for the door as soon as possible. Like, I don't know if you can probably see my camera, right? It's like, oh no, I made a huge mistake, and then start backing up, reaching for that door right away, right, as it screams, and that would kind of allow you to kind of keep that more steady head while the screaming is going on as well.
Yeah, that's all. I just noticed this guy's got like 2 thumbs on each hand. It's blowing my mind.
Yeah, that was really fun to deal with while I was trying to do this shot.
Is that a koala thing? I don't know. Koala,
yeah, it's a koala thing. I learned a little too much about koalas doing this shot.
Wow.
Koalas and their
That's
pie
awesome.
bacon.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like getting. You could even hide. What's fun about what Markus is saying too about getting him back farther, you can actually cheat the distance he's moving away from camera kind of quickly, because you don't have any like markers of his feet until he gets to about here. It's like you maybe get a little bit of this footstep, but then you get this foot plant for real. But then like the feet before that, Like he doesn't have to take actual strides. You can almost like do a to get back to that spot, and he could just continue like with his feet. Like you can hide a lot of motion in Z, just moving away from the camera.
The other thing too, you already have the camera behind him. Scroll back here a little bit. You have him here, and here you have that nice shaking because he's really heckin' scared, right? You can have him move backwards here already, and that way when you cut to here, he's already further back than he was.
That's cool. That's a nice like camera cheat, right? Like just backing him out of that first shot. When you get back to here, is he's like kind of beams forward just a little bit in time. That's cool.
Yeah, and that way you can already start reaching for the door. It makes more sense.
Yeah. I will echo too. Like I love the little scramble. How he like flicks it, like misses for the first time, like that. That's
yeah,
really
I love
cool
that.
detail.
I love missing the door. Yeah.
It makes it feel like impromptu. It wasn't planned. And then just slam it, like just really like do this in like 5 frames.
I would also try to open him. I mean, he's scared, right? So probably not too much, but really like push his body into it. Right now, he kind of leads with his entire body. Like if you see my camera, like he's doing this, right, with his body. I would almost try to break it up to go, boom, like he really wants that shot, right? It's like if you ever seen a small child trying to close a door really quickly, it looks really funny because they really lead because they don't have the strength.
Yeah. Yeah, just like really pulling that arm straight before you get the whip of the door. That's cool. Yeah, it's fun stuff.
Yeah, do you want to look at one more shot maybe?
Yeah, definitely. Let's see, there was the surprise. This one. Okay, yeah. I'm guessing this is like going back in time, right? Like as we're moving along, these are like the earlier shots that you've done. And like the most recent thing is like the very first one.
Yeah, I did put the last shot with Stuart going into the book here is from a body mechanics class that was earlier in the term, but I put it at the end because I thought it was better showing off than the acting shot of the guy just pouring the cereal.
Yeah. Let's see. That's neat. One of the things that kind of bumped me about this shot was that it felt like the book was pulling him. This is a weird thing. Like the book does pull him, but then like it's not the book that's levitating because then it drops and then he's still levitating, and so it kind of turns into like book pulls him and then it turns into telekinesis. There's something about that feels weird to me, and I'm not really sure how to maybe resolve that. I don't know if there's something where like maybe the book like would just like rip itself out of his hands and then have him like be like, what the heck, and then just start getting lifted.
It also do the inverse. It tries to eat him right away. It goes to his face and he's like, oh, and then he throws it away, right? And then it pulls him.
And then it starts like basically telekinetically pulling.
I'm thinking that Harry Potter scene of like the nom 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 book, right? But yeah, you could even do that, right? It's like goes to his face. But yeah, I like the idea of it ripping out of his hands too, because it's, I don't know, it's more clear somehow. But yeah, the inverse is another fun version.
So it's like the storytelling thing. But I will say, like, the stuff you're doing here where he's like twisting, this is hard, and you're doing a pretty good job of it. Like twisting characters is like one of the hardest things to do in CG, just because the hips to the head is an FK chain. You're trying to like do some interesting work with it.
Euler math.
Yeah, exactly. I bet gimbal lock is not your friend on this shot.
It was a fight for sure.
One thing that I kind of miss from this shot, actually, as he is going upwards and flying around, is it. Like here, it feels like he's, oh, what's going on? But here, it almost, this pose kind of makes me think that he's fighting it, / he's kind of in control. And I wonder if you look at my camera, I wonder if you want to go more like I'm floating what's going on, like arms out and going, oh, what the hell? And then he goes into the book, right? rather
kind
than
of keeping the limbs exercising a little bit, or like kind of doing the wobbly thing.
Exactly, yeah. And
We'll
here
definitely make him feel like he's not in control.
Yeah, and here it looks like he's doing a trick with the arms, right? So I wonder, yeah, if you want to, you know, keep the arms out, and he's kind of trying to balancing, and he doesn't quite understand what's going on. Might give that impression. This is funny.
Yeah, and that's cool how he gets sucked in.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, it's fun how like animation. I don't know. There's this point you reach in animation where it's like you're animating your shots, and then you almost switch to a different gear where you really have to start like breaking down your storytelling and like making sure like all the ideas like ramp together nicely or like flow together nicely, on top of like getting them all to animate correctly and your mechanics correct and everything. And then there's another ramp that you'll eventually hit that's like design wise, it's like how do you make the most appealing face or lip sync shape and all this. There's so many different levels to it, but it seems like right now you're kind of like on this shot hitting that entertainment, like what is the storytelling here, and then this like firing on all those cylinders, like this is good, this is really good entertainment stuff. But yeah, just update that intensity, and you're good to go. Are you enrolled in Kyoshu, or are you thinking about it?
I'm not yet. I am definitely thinking about it, but having just graduated and trying to kind of get back on funds, it's, I don't know. I'm talking with my wife about it for sure.
Yeah.
But
okay, well, maybe just let's keep that ball rolling of like, oh, what to do next? Like if you did want to keep animating, and like if you're thinking like, hey, what shot should I do next? I would try to do like a 2 characters in the same shot kind of shot, where you get like some full body mechanics and stuff, where you can really flex that entertainment and mechanics muscle all at the same time. So I think that'd be really fun to see from you.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, David.
Who's next? Najim? Is Najim here?
Najim. Let me see. Pull up me a link.
Is he here? Or she?
I don't think so.
Next on the list then?
No, I don't see that name. We can go to the next one.
Okay. All right, we'll pass for now. Let's see.
Got a big list.
Pause. Okay. Miraj. Do we have Miraj here? We do not. Let's see. How about a Lucas?
Lucas is not here either, I don't think. Yeah.
Elena. Is Elena here? No.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Or him. Sorry.
Hello. Thank you for joining. Let's see. Oh, there it is.
Okay. Yeah, she's just chatting.
Yeah, do you want to set us up? Is there anything specific you want us to take a look at? Or anything, like where are you at with it and such?
Yeah, basically now I'm in my spline stage, and I'd like to know any tips how to improve it, and maybe some tips for future polishing.
Yeah, you got it.
Cool. Polish and splining. Oh my gosh. All right, let's hit it. So I'd say that. Yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I just want to. I assume. Do you have a reference for this as well?
I do.
Yeah. Would you be able to share that as well? It's okay if you don't want to.
No, it's totally okay. Let me find the link. Just can I post it into chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Some chat. Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second, please.
Yeah.
It's a cool shot. This is like the dances like this, especially slow ones like this, are really challenging.
Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a challenge for me. I'm studying it by myself, so.
Yeah.
This is
yeah, you're at that stage. Like I describe as sort of like you're ready for mechanical polish. Like everything is there, your poses are there, your timing is there, right? Especially with dances, like usually timing is kind of like locked and baked in, but now your spacing and like the travel of your controls needs slight adjustments, right? So be able to like really describe those arcs, because there's areas where I can see like the change in velocity.
Can you join the sync thing, Daniel? Sorry, up on your right.
Oh,
up here.
Join sync. Yes.
Yeah, I think otherwise I don't see the same thing that you see. Awesome,
gotcha. So, if I were to track, say, like the hips, I mean, for me, it always starts at the hips. I'll track, say, like this line here. Let's actually go res, easier to see. You can see there's like a sudden velocity change right there. There's a sudden velocity change right here. So I can tell like what frames your keyframes are on. And so then the polish becomes like hide the keys, hide the controls, right? And the way to do that is to like make sure that those paths that the controls are taking are nice arcs, right? And then they're not cornered like that. Which they might be like this because of Maya. Or any animation software that you use, right? Like if you've got pose in your graph editor, they're going from like pose A to pose B to then pose C, and the key or the curves are looking like this. It's linear, right? And that might be pose D up here, and you can see basically like there's these elbows in the velocity of your control, and what you want basically in the graph editor in order to hide all that is to make sure there's like a nice curve all the way through. And so like there's always this constant acceleration or constant deceleration, right? The steeper things are in the graph editor, the faster they're moving, the flatter they are, or the flatter the curve is, the slower it's moving. But you generally want like constant accelerations or decelerations. And so I would be looking at that. So there's oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, I just said that I got it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah. And I would say too, like for Maya, I mean, you could hit auto tangent, but it won't solve the problem, right? Because Maya will just do stuff like, it will do like wobbles like this, just for no reason. It's just the way the software works. So you like almost have to babysit at least what the hips are doing. Whatever this control is, you have to babysit, make sure it's smooth everywhere it moves. And one of the other tips I love to use for making like kind of polishing up this control is to get like a polygon sphere. Just create polygon sphere, put it in the same spot as the hips, and then parent constrain it to that hip control. So I'd like grab that control there and then shift click, grab that sphere, and then just animation, I think it's like constrain, parent constraint, maintain offset, and then there you go. And then what I would do is select that control and then select the sphere and then hit Shift I in the viewport, or Control 1 in later videos or versions of Maya, and then it just isolates it so that's all you're looking at. And then you get to just watch that sphere as it's moving through the scene, and then it makes it a little easier to actually see those kind of elbows in the path.
You can do that with your reference too. If you have Premiere or any kind of video editing software, or you can probably do it in Sync Sketch too. Just like draw a big sphere over the hip and just like compare that sphere to yours, basically.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Right, yeah, there you go.
Which is, I see, yeah, you've done a lot of drawovers here, so I see that you're already kind of doing what we're talking about.
Nice. Good notes. But yeah, I would definitely start with the hip control, right? Like kind of, it's like when I'm looking at reference, I'm always like imagining like, okay, what if that was a character and you know, where are the controls? And then on which frames are they actually like, you know, keyed? And I could just try to like break it down that way. But yeah, you're, like I said, you're really close. Like this just needs mechanical polish, and that's just fixing up those arcs every time it moves, just making sure it's moving in really nice soft arcs, and just controlling the spacing so it's never working just linearly unless the move is like a linear move, but really just babysitting those slow ins and slow outs.
Another thing you can do, I don't know if this rig allows it, but there are scripts you can download that allow you to do it as well, is hide the stuff that is distracting you. So if you want to focus on like the hip and the spine to begin with, hide the limbs if you can, and just try to nail down that. Because if the hip and spine feels really good, then the rest of the limbs will feel good too, eventually.
Right.
There's some things that I'm reacting to, if I may, Daniel.
Yeah. Oh,
wait.
Please.
Is it in sync? I don't know.
There we go. Oh, here. Let me. There we go.
Okay, sweet. Other stuff to think about when you polish is I'm looking at the reference, and you've hit this kind of move and hold here where it's like easing out. But in rotate Y or whatever it is on this rig, like how it's spinning around like this, it's drifting way more than the other axisi, whatever. So that's also something to be mindful of. Like if you compare to the reference when the person does this, basically it feels like all of the axes are way more together and solid. Like as that eases out in translate Y, the rotate Y also eases out quite aggressively and kind of holds that pose. Whereas here currently it feels like the rotate just keeps going, right? So try to look out for those as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, you're at that stage where it's just fine-tooth comb, each control. But yeah, definitely start from the hips and then work your way out, like hips, then torso, chest, head, and then do the limbs. Because I like save the arms and hands for last. But like, yeah, once you're done with the torso, then legs, just to make sure, because there might be an area where you might have to actually like move the leg a little bit farther to justify the path of the hips. Sometimes you can get away with that, where you sort of solved the body and then solve the legs, and then arms are just there as kind of like overlapping elements after everything is said and done.
All right.
Yeah.
Great work.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
I'd love to see when it's done.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, you got it.
Jump on to the next one from Paul.
Yeah.
Is Paul here?
Paul. Let's see.
Paul, I don't think is here.
Dang it. What about Soltex?
I don't think so. Nikhil is not here.
Oh yeah, people are writing in the chat.
Oh, okay. Maris is here? Oh yeah, Soltex is here. Sorry.
Awesome.
All right,
Hey,
let's
what's up?
see. Soltex.
Hey,
There
thank you
go.
for joining.
Thank you guys for
Hey.
hosting this.
Sync sketch link.
As I'm getting your work pulled up, any caveats or setups before we hit
Kind
play?
of already left a note there
Okay.
about that specific thing because I didn't know how this was gonna go.
Let's see.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
man.
Oh, I
Sorry,
think
I'm
the
not
notes in
seeing
there,
your note.
there you
Is
go.
that-
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right. Suggestions. All right. Any
It's a
ideas or suggestions?
League of Legends rig or something like that.
It's from Christoph. It's not really for a game.
Right on, yeah.
Cool. Let's see.
So something that jumps out at me right away is that this character is doing actions reaching out or forward, either some kind of attack or some kind of beaming or casting spells or whatever. I don't think the camera angle is doing you any favors because it's really hard to gauge the reach of those arms. So I think if you just showed off this animation a little bit more from the side or 3/4 view or something like that, that would help a lot when you eventually put it in a demo reel or something.
Yeah. And I've also heard too, like, it's been pretty good practice, like, depending on the studio, or, it's like if you were to apply to Riot and you wanted to work on League of Legends, I would totally see putting the camera kind of like top down ish, right? And then almost like fudging like what it would look like if this were in game kind of thing. You could even like steal like a screenshot of like a part of the level where you don't have a character and then just make that the background. But yeah, I agree with Marcus. There's some good smears here, but like, yeah, I'm not sure how close this is because everything is like behind that silhouette of the arm.
And it's yeah, to your point, like that smear earlier too, it's hard to tell how far behind that hand actually is. Like I would expect to see like a huge, like, I'm drawing on your screen, I can't do that. 1 second. Yeah, like that smear here, I would expect to be like a huge thing like this, but it's hard to tell from this angle.
Yeah. Cool. And then one of the other things that kind of stood out to me too was like, it kind of feels like halfway between a slap attack, like a melee attack, but then also a spell cast. And I wasn't sure exactly which one it was. And I was wondering if there's a way to make it a little bit more clear. I think clarity like is always kind of like the North Star in animation. You want to make sure everything is instantly readable, and having it be sort of like half one thing and half another doesn't do you any favor. So I wonder if, like, depending on what it is, you commit even harder to it. Like if it's a spell, then maybe there's something to being a little bit more clear about like whatever kind of energy she's throwing, and if it's kind of like one of those like underhanded baseball pitches or something that she's doing, or if it's a slap or a swipe, then maybe it would look more like a claw, or maybe it would look more like an open hand. Like whatever it's supposed to be, just leaning into all the things you can do to make sure it's very obvious. Like I dig the last one, because this feels like a channeling, like she's just like kind of doing a little bit of a blast. But I also would love to see like the elbows involved. I don't know if this rig has elbows, but when it like claps forward, it feels like either the motion is like she's causing like a shockwave, like doing something like a Hulk clap or whatever. But then she ends up in like a pushing pose. But like the action doesn't describe pushing. The action describes like a big clap. So yeah, this move is even a little bit one thing, but it's also a little bit another thing, and then it becomes like, oh well, which is it? So yeah, if it's a push, I might think about. Oh, sorry, Marcus, just real quick.
Yeah,
it's a push. Maybe like the antic is kind of like, doing something like this, where you get to see that elbow up there, and really go into like, yeah, this is like this thing doing this, and then pushing forward, and then it feels like, okay, that I know what that attack would even do, or I might even understand what that implies. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the same line of thinking is I'd be really curious if you wanted to like increase the contrast between each move, so it feels like a chain. Right now it feels like she's doing the last attack in the beginning too, but with one hand at a time, right? Because both of them end up strictly in front of her, right? So they both feel like she's channeling something forward, like strongly, right? Like she hits forward really hard. So I wonder, yeah, the side ones, you can make them more like a swipe, like have way more follow through in those, and show like smear and like bend the arms. So like if you do like, an underhand or a side throw, right? Like the hand will keep going right in front of you and to your side. And then the last one is like the big boom where she really charges in and reaches straight forward. So just like playing around with the different contrasts and making sure that each attack feels really unique.
Yeah, like I like that idea of like turning it into a combo, or feels like it's a 1, 2, wind up 3, right? Yeah, that's a neat idea.
For sure. There's more, a lot of camera angle stuff, but yeah, a lot of her body gets hidden by the hat from this camera angle as well. And same thing, yeah, it's hard to see anything behind those big arms as well. But yeah, I would love to see like those huge shapes and her body mechanics way more.
that also kind of like relies on wherever the camera is going to be.
Exactly.
If the camera's like maybe a little more to the side, then you might want to like, I was gonna say like design the hat to be a little bit more revealing from the side. But then again, it's like if it were a Street Fighter type game or a platformer, then it's like, well, that makes so much sense, and you would animate to camera anyway. But yeah. It's a neat rig. I'd like to play around with that rig.
It's cool. Yeah, I love the colors.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, he says he wanted to do bird view.
Yeah, okay. What was my biggest thing about it?
I think something else that we can play around with, she's bouncing around a lot, right? Like up and down and up and down. I try to look for opportunities to play with the spacing a little bit. Right now it feels like very floaty, like she's kind of going like this, right? Like she's going up and down, up and down. But I try to look for opportunities where, you know, she's going down to charge, slowing down, and then boom, going up, right? And then going down again, or the inverse. Like it could also be like she's going up to charge, like slowly, and then going down, you know, play around with the contrasts there of when she goes up and down, so it doesn't feel as bouncy like on a sine wave.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, it's a good point.
And then to be honest, I would try to also, like, when she's not attacking, try to minimize the up and down a little bit, because it is a bit hard to track her attacks sometimes, and then you can use the up and down as a bigger contrast when she actually fires the attack, right? Like at the end and stuff like that.
Also, it looks like this lid might be have a stray key on it, because I noticed like she had one eye closed here. But halfway through, she's like slowly opening both eyes, but then this one ends up feeling a little odd. So probably just like open both eyes for the channel. Or I don't know, maybe it's like her personality. She's like very sleepy. She's a very sleepy mage.
I just realized this has like, it looks like it has inversed elbows like this.
Well, it has elbows in other parts. That's why I was like here, right? You get to see this guy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Cool.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. So I think the next person who's in the chat would be Brittany, I believe. Yes. So we could take a look at Brittany's.
Let's see. All right. Brittany,
Hey,
are you
guys.
there?
Hey,
Hey.
Hello. Thank
Welcome.
you for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's see. Would you like to set us up, like any caveats or setups before we hit play?
Yeah, I mostly kind of stuck on that polishing stage, you know. I think like I've got the blocking and the spline kind of figured out in my head, but then once it gets to like the polish and kind of connecting everything, I kind of, any advice there would be awesome.
Awesome. All right, let's take a look. Thank you.
I'm singing my best man speech.
Every time I've ever put myself out there, I've gotten hurt. Every time.
I thought I lost you.
Oh, nice. All right, let's see. I gotta.
I'm singing my best man speech.
I really dig that first shot. I think this is well done.
This is really good. I love this subtle when he holds the note there.
Thank you.
Here, like when the subtle shake on the head. It's great. And I love that. I love that shape too. Wait, I can draw like this shape here. It's really good.
Yeah, really good posing. I dig it. Sorry, I was playing one too.
I'm singing my best man speech.
Cool. I only have like one tiny like little like sort of polished plus it's like a maniacal detail, but if you wanted to like up the squash and stretch of his face, you could actually like throw his one second mute site. Okay, you could add like his facial controls to an animation layer, and then like in the moments where he's lifting his brows, you must want to like push that pose to like push the brows up even higher. And I don't know if this rig has like one of those like wires on the top and then the bottom to be able to like stretch that face just a little bit more. It's almost like you want to stretch like from the middle down and like the middle up just a little bit. And when he's doing this kind of stuff, like the thing that I'm looking for is like just a little bit more follow through. Like you're doing it with like the lips, which has like this really nice kind of like down and up, like that feels nice. But like I want to see like that, just a subtle stretch on his face. If he has a control that can kind of like push him just a little bit this way and just a little bit that way with like the jaw and everything, just to exaggerate his features. Because his I would say like his skull is like there's not much squash and stretch that I feel in it. Like again, well done shot. I think like this has a lot of really great stuff on it. I'm just like, what's that extra like little, it's like
yeah,
how do you throw the nos in on a shot like this?
Yeah, that's exactly what I like need. I'm like, how do I even tried, like I've been really into like ear animation these days. But I'm like, can you even see that? Like, you stare at a shot so long. I'm like, how much, So it's really great. Like, I've never thought to actually add the squash and stretch to those controls, right? That's great.
Yeah.
An extra thing that makes it feel fleshy.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would know this. Let's see. I would totally do it. Animation layers. That way, it's like it's an additive effect on what you have. Because I wouldn't go and like start messing with your performance. And if you haven't messed with animation layers, like this is where you like. I would definitely start messing around with it. But yeah, you can get a lot of really.
One
good
thing
details.
with animation layers for that is that you can go huge, like do it way over the top, and then you just change the layer amount, like the weight of it, and then you can find where you want it, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the way I like to set it up is like I would add all those controls to an animation layer, and then key it, and then go to like go to a frame in which I wanted the most amount of squash, and I would key it, and then basically like make the like push the pose's squashness like a lot, and then animate that layer weight for when you want to like squish the face in. And the cool thing about this is it works in reverse in the graph editor. Like once you have that weight attribute displayed in the graph editor, you can then like animate it and go invert values. And so it's like the opposite of squash is a stretch, and but there's a little issue where it's like sometimes the stretch doesn't look as curated. So sometimes you might need like a squash layer and then like a stretch layer, and you like use either when you need them, but just adding that extra little squinch and extra stretch because you can curate them like that. But yeah, that's cool stuff. Okay, sorry, we're gushing. Let's go.
Every time I've ever put myself out there, I've gotten hurt. Every time.
Let's see.
Every time I've ever put myself out there, I've gotten hurt. Every time.
For this one, like
every time I've ever put myself out there, I've gotten hurt. Every time.
The one thing I would try like on Michelle is like with her brows. So I have like two things. One is like the lip sync of like every time like feels a little mushy. Right? Like I don't really feel the V of like every time. Every time. And then like the T of time. But then also like just as like a general like brow thing for Michelle, it's like I would try to exaggerate like the corner of those peaks. She was like kind of modeled a little bit with like Rapunzel's brows in mind, but you want to try to get rid of the sort of like snaky feeling of her brows and really maintain like those corners. The corner here at the peak, and then the corner here if you want to get that sort of like the irrepressible spirit going on. It really shows up here at the very end where her brows are feeling a little noodly. So I would, it takes a while to kind of cure it because you have to kind of do a little bit of like, a little bit of translate and rotate with the controls to make them actually do this. But when you do it, it feels a lot better with her, especially. I used to teach Random Squad, so secrets. Cool. But yeah, good job with the eye shapes too. Like getting the top lids flat. That's tough. I don't know if they ever got like eyelash controls for her. Should have.
Yeah, she has like a few.
Okay, cool. But yeah, the big thing is like yeah, I almost want like more top teeth here for every.
Can you hit play on the shot one more time?
Oh, yep. Let's do it.
Every time I've ever put myself out there, I've gotten hurt. Every time.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Sorry, those were it. Those were my only notes. But yeah, it's good stuff. Marcus, do you have anything on this one?
Let's see.
Every time.
The only thing that I reacted to a little bit was that I was looking at the shoulders here, and I like the compression on her, like how she's just like, she's super sad and closed off, right? But there is something with the shoulders where they feel like they drift a little bit too much, these frames here. And it's like very extreme shapes like this, and then they go down, and then they keep drifting a little bit too much. And I think it's this area here that I'm reacting to, how much it actually moves. If that makes sense. So that would be the only thing, and that's like super minor, because this is great.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Wait, I want to hear this shot one more time. Hang on.
I thought I lost you.
That's a funny
I thought
shot.
I lost you.
I like that. It's great.
Still working on that, but I figured, I'm gonna put it out there. Trying to, do something different.
Yeah. I love the idea of it because I did not expect that when I started watching it. It's a weird thing. Like,
something I'm reacting to is like the more you can make. It's just I'm just thinking about like how the dog is like super upset and scared, and very sad or happy as well. I guess that they found their owner. But it's like it would be really funny if in juxtaposition the human is like just very calm and happy and not like sad at all, and it's this like just weird dog thing. They thought they were lost forever. Just like the more you can play on that, the more funny it might be.
Yeah, I like that. You could even see like the dog maybe. I thought I'd lost you. Could do that with like the paw, like going up a little bit higher. And it's like, I thought I'd lost you. Like he's like reaching a little higher to get a better, grip on her or something.
Yeah.
That's funny. And then one thing I would say is like for his performance, adding just a little bit of the look on him. Right now, his head is basically in the same pose for like the whole shot.
I thought I lost you.
Oh no, it moves when he starts to sniff, but like I thought I'd lost you. Like he's kind of locked in that one rotation. So you might just want a little bit of like I thought I'd lost you. Just a little extra tug maybe in that direction as he's talking to her, so it feels like he's not so locked off. And then the other thing I was thinking is like I would love to get rid of this gap between the arms. There's just something that feels a little like disconnected or a little it looks a little CG, you know. It's got that kind of not human thing going on. So I wonder if there's a way to like maybe get both arms kind of together and holding the dog. I think that might actually help a bit. I had a really good teacher, actually an animation mentor a long time ago, who would always like point out little tiny like negative spaces and like shapes within characters' silhouettes. So it's like if you had a character like crossing their arms and you saw like just like a little bit of like light like under a shoulder or something, and be like, yeah, close that gap. Or if you had like weird kind of like tangent like this and there'd be like a little bit of space in between, it's like close that gap. It just simplifies the shape and gets you to look at the areas that you want to, because you're reducing as much noise in the areas that you don't need to look at.
It helped it feel more relaxed too, that it's like instead of holding it like this kind of strained, it's more like relaxed, like her arms are down a bit, like she's just holding her dog, right? Or I mean, yeah, you can do it the opposite way too, like really tense up, right? Do it like a really strong hug. That's on the vibe you're going for.
Cool. Yeah, that's it for her.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Hey, you got it. I just wanted to finish this out real quick. That was really fun. Yeah, I love the energy of this at the very end. It was really cool. Yeah, really good stuff.
Awesome,
Yeah, for
thank
sure.
you so much.
Good job. Thanks for sharing.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. So I think our last person who is here, and everyone else, I don't think they're here, but if you go to the last one for Khan, he has a sync sketch
Alright.
link, so we could take a look at that, and that can be our last one, unless someone else who's here hasn't submitted or something. Just let us know in the chat, but this should be our last one.
Very cool.
Yeah, hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. This is my current demo reel, and there's also yeah, this is my current demo reel, and I've kind of been like learning on my own thus far, and I was just hoping for any advice I could get for how to take my work to the next level, I guess. And I think there's also a work in progress shot there too. Like there's two separate files in this one sync sketch. I think there's a work in progress shot that I'm hoping
cool.
to put on my demo reel. So yeah, any advice I could get for that, I'd really appreciate it.
Right on. Okay, thank you. All right, let's hit it.
Oh, what? Number 12. What? Charlie. What? Charlie. Why am I on there? I don't know. I don't belong on there. No. That's bullshit. You don't put me on a list.
Tonight we dine in hell. All right.
Cool.
Oh, what? Number 12.
Let's see.
What?
Wait. So.
Oh, what? Number 12. What? Charlie. What? Charlie. Why am I on there? I don't know. I don't belong on there. No. That's bullshit. You don't put me on a list.
Oh man. Okay. So really good stuff. A lot of really fun ideas. The one thing I kind of hit on this first one is I really dig like the isolated movements, but sometimes it's almost like too isolated. Like this like what that he does. It's only like from here up his chest. Like this area is moving and then nothing else is. And so I like the move, but to add just that extra level of polish, I would have like that sympathetic motion of that move actually affect the rest of his body. Like kind of you start with like 100% of the action happening kind of here at his neck, because that's like where it's being driven from, but then you have like a fall off between a little bit more of the chest is involved and a little bit more of the torso is involved, a little bit, just like a little bit of the pelvis is involved, just that way nothing else is like pixel locked on it. And then there's this area, like I like the pose that he's doing, like what? But man, like I wish his hand wasn't like covering so much of his jacket. like, I know this is like foreground, but I wonder if there's like just some way to get like the angle of his arm just silhouetted enough where you didn't cover, see his hands. I don't know, I can't really draw it that well up here, but where you got to see that elbow, like where it's coming from. It's just every time you cover a joint, it kind of leads to sort of like Muddy Town. So I'm always like trying to like just kick out poses just a little bit so you can see where the bend the limb is. And then he does this swipe right here, like that's bullshit. This one, like the move actually feels too slow for like every move is getting like faster and sharper, and then this one's kind of like slow. And but like the energy and the vocal levels are like just going up and up, so I would make it really fast.
No, that's bullshit.
Right? It's like we've got I remember there's even like a spacing issue with like the hands going down there, like just watching this.
I might reduce the follow through too on that, make it a sharper. Like he almost throws something down like really sharply.
Yeah, just
rather
like
than doing a huge follow through, because making that huge follow through almost makes it playful somehow.
Yeah, like I would like get rid of like this frame and this frame. Like that's okay, but then it's like all the extra frames that you have here of the arm kind of like swishing back like that, and then that is what Marcus is talking about, where it's just too much like follow through on there. But yeah, I would start removing frames that move and just have it be like whoosh, and just have them like hold it just for a minute before then moving on to this extra thing here. And then speaking of this extra thing, this extra pose, it's like there's just maybe too many frames getting into the antic. Like you could probably again skip this frame, just go straight from like this frame all the way to like this frame, like getting into this one, this is good, it's good. And then like hold like these poses up here just a little bit longer, because like this is a fun kind of a funny antic of him like getting his arms up and then like throwing them back down again. But as he throws them down, it's like, oh yeah, so this is cool. If you do it fast enough, you actually can get those smears in there. But then the smear's kind of moving in the wrong direction, right? Like it's kind of moving like this, but then it's pointed this way. So you want this to actually move from here, let's see, here to here. Suggests this direction, but now it's over here. So you need to somehow bridge this shape to this shape. And if we ghost, you can see we're too far over here. We need this smear to like bridge, right? This shape and this shape, so it needs to be like here in order to make that cell. Yeah, those are the thoughts I have about that shot. But then I want to talk about that action sequence at the end. Marcus, did you have anything?
No, and not on this one. I think you covered most of it. We can probably move on to another.
I wanted to like talk about this.
That's probably the biggest one. We can probably talk about this one the most.
I know. Oh man, I could spend a long time on this. I love action sequences. They're just my favorite. And you have so much good stuff in here. There were issues of clarity, and that's what I would kind of attack before you put a lot more effort into like solving animation. It'd be more like solving the clarity of the storytelling of what is the purpose of each shot. Because like even though I really, really dig this like slow motion shot here, because slow motion is just cool, but it's there to say like, hey, this thing happened in this really short amount of time. But I actually don't know what happens in this shot other than her spear's like just moving and she's about to get a grip on it. But then I don't get to see the grip, like we cut before she even grips and starts doing anything with it to this attack, which is also kind of hidden. So there's issues of clarity. Like I would just love to know exactly what is the what's the purpose?
Can I ask you a question?
Please, absolutely, yes.
Do you think it would be better if it was a slow motion, the shot was still close up, and then it showed her grabbing it first, and then we keep going?
So maybe, but then the whole point is like, what? Like, why is she gripping the staff? right? Like, did she lose it? Because in the shot before it, it doesn't look like she lost the grip on it. She's just kind of getting ready to do an attack. So the purpose of the shot, if it is to like change her grip from here then to here and then like continue it or something, then I could see like, you know, again, describing like what happened in such a short amount of time, that why is this important? Like, what does this shot mean? In order to level up the whole like cool factor, it's like really make it set up as the antics. So that way the audience is like along board of having that reaction of like, oh, nice. Like seeing like her barely catch something as it's getting out of her grip. Or like if in the previous shot, someone knocked it out of her grip, then, you know, it's going away and she needs to like grab it again. And you can see like, oh, that's how fast she's able to like re-grip her weapon. Then that would be like the purpose of it. But without those tools in place, it's just kind of like slow motion for slow motion's sake. I'm not sure why. As far as like, well, what should she do? That's up to you, right? There's not really a wrong answer. It's just make it clear of whatever it is.
I think that they're like, to me, they're talking about slow motion. There are two things that I think about. To Daniel's point, either you could do slow motion as she's like really going into as anticipation for a brutal attack, right? Like she's already started swinging it towards someone, and you really show it going towards an enemy, and then all of a sudden it speeds up and she brutally like hits them, right? So you could do something like that, like really lead into like a big action. Or you could show, like Daniel was saying, show something that is actually really fast or really difficult to read, but show it in slow motion. So to be honest, like another bigger kind of action shots that you have in other places in this animation could be the slow motion could be used for that instead, rather than like a close-up shot like you have there.
Did you have any ideas of like wherever, like there is this really cool like matrix dodge she does? This is one of those that I also kind of missed. So there's this issue in like camera cuts, right, where it's like as you're watching a shot, right, your eye is tracking on screen space, and I mean like screen space, like if you narrow it down to the grids, like where your eye is on the map of the screen, and my eye is here, kind of like watching all of this, and I'm kind of like looking at her face, and then as soon as I see the dude's face, it's like, okay, I'm up here now. I'm still up here for 6 to 8 more frames when an edit happens, and then I see something happening over here, and by the time my eye gets here, the thing has already happened. So this is something you also have to like watch out for in like really intense quick cut action scenes. You want to put the action of the next shot in the same spot that you were looking in the previous shot if you want the action to actually read. And even if you do that, you still want to give it like another 5 frames or 6 frames at the least before you actually do the thing, right? Before the impact frame is held, or before like, yeah, the explosion happens, whatever it is. So that way everyone's eyes are like there and then ready for it. So I would add like a little bit more time actually of this shot, or just reframe it. So like if you just move, like tilted the camera this way, that put them up in this spot, that would work as well too. Because then he does the attack on like frame 6. Cool. And one thing I would also try. Oh yeah, go for it.
Just to talk about this specific shot a little bit. Let me see, where are we here? Okay. Talking about clarity a little bit. It's weird because he's clearly attacking her, right? But this is very, very close range. So I expect some kind of close range attack, but it actually looks like he's jumping over her, and then the attack is happening over here. So that might be something to reevaluate as well. Like what is the purpose of his attack, and what is he actually trying to accomplish, and also what is she dodging? Because that was a little bit confusing to me when I saw it as well. So yeah, maybe he's actually trying to do like a close-up attack. Why else would he move up so close to the enemy, right? Anyway, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, like she missed his antic. The other thing too is like just watch out for like when you do have characters cross and you have another character miss, make sure their silhouettes don't touch. This is like a weird like graphical thing, but like if you have shapes crossing each other, even if one is like in front of the other, it still feels like they hit. So watch out for tangents like this, and even like her staff kind of like going through him, or like him passing through it, because it still, you get this kind of impression of like, oh, did he hit? Like it adds this little level of detail in your brain as you're watching it that you have to then filter out like, oh no, he's clear. And one of the kind of ways you can do that, even if like this spear is here, is that you have him here on one frame and then here on the next frame. Like just straight, like there's no frame in which he's overlapping her silhouette. Like you can totally cheat like that. That's fine. Yeah, let's see. I kind of like the idea of like starting with like the spear just like being like tossed up into frame. If you do this, I would try to not move the camera yet. Yeah, there's something nice about having the spear kind of like lift up, and then she like jumps up and catches it, and then like goes to stab someone. Let the spear actually like move into frame, you know, and you might want to just lock off the camera just for that first little beat, so you get to see her catch, and then you can have the camera follow the action. Because at the very beginning, if you're going for like that bounce, it feels like stuttery. Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about that first attack as well.
Dupes.
The way that she kind of, like, I would imagine when she jumps up, you can see my camera, I would imagine that she would grab the spear and then she would like put it over her head or something, or even to the side, like do like a big attack, but she's very compressed the entire time, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot of force behind it, or like there's a lot of like attack intent in there. So probably like try to record some reference or something of yourself with your phone, like when you just do this, and then use that, and then try to make that like ending pose feel really powerful. She's still very compressed at the end when she's standing there on the ground.
Oh, down here.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. And a lot of her silhouette is kind of like on top of itself,
exactly.
Right? Legs and torso and everything. So you don't get a real clear read of like, what is this action pose that she's in?
Yeah.
And this is like totally where comic books like come into play. Like if you read comics or you enjoy just seeing the art online, like I would look for like some awesome like J. Scott Campbell or something, you know, where you get to see some cool action poses and just start cribbing that.
There's also a couple of other things that are confusing about the shot. One thing was like, actually I lost. Yeah, if you scrub back and forth a little bit, because I'm curious what the other characters are doing. Like they appear really quickly in like a couple of frames, and it's very, very hard to see what they're actually doing. And they appear from the edges of the screen, and it's surprising to me that her spear actually reaches that far, right? Like I didn't expect it, and then it's too quick for me to read and understand what is happening. Basically, like why did he stop? Oh, the spear hit, and then like the reaction that he has, and then the other character on the left suddenly stops, right? So kind of like working on the readability of that choreography, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like the camera might have to get down to the ground a few frames ahead so we can at least see who she's attacking
and what they're up to, right? You know, what their intent is and what they try to do and such.
Yeah, and if it's possible, like, I mean, I know anything's possible, right? But like I would try to get this dude's shield up here, and so when she collides against it, so right now like it's all happening down here, and it's like within the silhouette of the distant mountain, so it gets again super muddy. So if you can get it all in silhouette, it would be really great. Much easier to read.
Make that Link character feel really strong and cool too, like really like holding the sword. I'm thinking of 300, like that's my favorite movie when it comes to spear and shield references, right? Sword fighting, but it's like how they feel when they duck and they use their shield to have like a really, really strong pose when this character is like bracing for impact from that spear. and then lead into the sword swing, right?
Right. And that turns into the antic, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Antic, yeah.
Because clearly he's unfazed by that spear block, right? He's like, ah, whatever, and then he keeps going. So having like a really strong, like, oh, I wasn't hurt, like I saw that coming, dunk, and then lead into the sword swipe.
Same thing with like the whole silhouettes traveling within silhouettes thing. It's like because his silhouette is like touching hers like through 2 frames, feels like, oh, did he hit her or not? So yeah, make that a little bit more clear. Probably just like foreshorten the blade a little bit, and then go a little bit out like that.
I was also curious what the character on the left doesn't really do anything in that shot, right? He just runs in and stops. I would almost cut that character from that shot because it's mostly distracting and takes time away from the actual action the characters are doing.
That's the tricky thing too, is like him being there is like the antic for this third shot of her attacking him. It's
True.
like she attacks Link, he rebuffs, and then she goes for the other guy. And it's like, we need to know that the other guy's there. So if we do take him out of that first shot, then we gotta like in this third shot add more frames to like set him up as like an attacker that she needs to like meet first.
Yep, no, that's really true.
But also, I mean, I also do have kind of clarity issues with this shot where like he's covering her like for way too long, right? So like this is just staged in a way that doesn't like do you any favors. Like I dig this kind of like whatever this is, like if she stabbed through and then he like missed him. But the thing is, like, it's like she swiped but then stopped right at it, and it feels like this thing is like right across his back. So yeah, to me it's kind of like a weird clarity thing where it's like, did she stab? Did she swipe? Did she get him? Feels like he's okay. And that, yeah, I'm not sure. So that's the big thing. It's sort of like clarity issues, and then what's Link doing over there? It's like getting ready to do something. Yeah, I would have him not do anything. Like if we're setting up sort of like their combat for this guy to like kind of do this like frog jump over to here and then back over to here to close distance with her, and then it turns into this like, I mean, this is a really cool like moving camera thing where he's like barreling down on her and we're going with him. Like I like that idea a lot. It's just over so fast. So I might give this a little bit more time of him like dodging and then turning into a run and then going at her. I would love to see more time there, a little more frames there, and then I might actually just take Link out of this shot. But the thing, or like have him be recovering from like the previous thing he did, which was like this big swipe.
I was thinking
here,
that too, like because yeah, both the character on screen left in the first shot and then Link in this other shot. If there was something that you can do to make them feel like they're busy, either that they're trying to get into position or that they are recovering from something. Link could be recovering from the previous fight maybe, and then the other character in the first shot, he could keep moving and try to get into position or something like that. But yeah, basically make those characters feel like they still exist and they're still alive.
Right. Okay, and she's doing this thing where she's like jumping away from us. I think it's hard to tell because she's moving away from camera, right? And every time you do stuff like toward and away from camera, it's basically invisible. So like you can do a lot of really cool things doing that. Like you can do a lot of treats. Treats? You can do a lot of cheats. Moving stuff away from camera where you kind of like make some invisible changes happen, but they're invisible, right? So like as the camera's moving in and as she's jumping back, she kind of like maintains the same spot in the screen space and like the same spot on the ground. It's weird. I didn't notice until framing through that, oh, it looks like she's maybe jumping back to get some distance. So if you want to make that more or clear, we'll have to like set that up in a way that she doesn't move exactly away from camera, that there's a little bit more a lateral change. Or it just might need more time. and then this shot of Link like is just too quick. It's the whole like, oh cool, I'm looking here, and I probably get to about here, and then see, like before I even register what's happening, it's like it's already over. So I would add like a little bit more antic to this shot. Maybe like Link kind of like getting up to this spot, and then maybe having just like the last couple of frames of an antic, and then like the swing of the shield. Looks like he's trying to drive his shield into her face. But yeah, I don't get to see the antic there. Yeah, and then here again, it's like you might need to rotate her staff just like a little bit more this way. Again, just overlapping silhouette stuff. Yeah, but that'll be cool once that's
pretty cool stuff though. This is a lot of work,
dude. It is, and there's like there's a lot of really good ideas. It's just each one is just okay. Gotta like give it some space, flesh it out, get the camera in the right spot, give it a little more anticipation, a little more timing, a little more love.
Try to record references if you can, or look for references if you can, movies, animes, whatever, and try to like really dissect how they do these types of moves with the camera and the bottom mechanics.
Yeah. Oh man.
Awesome.
But yeah, it wow. Is this guy like, I've seen him in like kind of weird poses, like the whole thing. If he's like kind of one of those like twisty acrobat guys who can kind of like bend around and do weird things, like he's like a super Gumby fighter, he might need like a little bit of an antic to know that he's not just like a broken person, but an actual like, oh, he's like a weird Gumby guy. So like his introduction might need this extra like setup just to know that he's not animated wrong.
Yeah, thanks for the notes. Could you guys, real quick, if you guys could check out my second shot? I was wondering.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm focused on right at the moment.
Let's do it.
I want my eyes back.
Sorry.
You what?
I'm sorry.
No. I said I want my eyes back. Give them back to me.
I can't.
Why not? You took them. I want my eyes back.
Sorry, let me start it over one more time. Okay, here we go.
I want my eyes back.
Sorry.
You what?
I'm sorry.
No. I said I want my eyes back. Give them back to me.
I can't.
Why not? You took them. I want my eyes back.
Biggest thing I'd say is like, it looks like he's looking like straight at camera. Like there's times where it looks like he's looking straight at camera, but there's times where it's not. And so I would try to like make that a little bit more obvious, that he's not looking at camera. And I would try to make him not look at camera. I think that just might be as simple as like just making his eye line just a little higher up in this direction. Let's see. Just so it feels like he's kind of like over our shoulder there. And then the other kind of big thing is like I can see where his skull is kind of deforming, like kind of going from this to then this. I would, because it's subtle and he's not moving quickly enough to hide that transition, I see it. And every time you're doing that sort of like bend and squash of the face, you want to feel it but not see it. And so you might actually have to reduce a lot of like how much you're going back the other way. Like I don't really notice it start happening until this move. And so I might actually probably not even do it at all, like on this like acting beat, because he doesn't, like if he were to move his face, if he were to move his like nose to this side, of screen space. You know, like kind of you can draw this sort of like line down the middle, and if he's looking on one side of the camera versus the other side of the camera, then I can see kind of like a reason to bend in this direction, and if he's on this side, you would bend in this direction. But like if he doesn't switch, I don't know, I might not put in so much of a deformation there. And then yeah, go ahead.
Something that I reacted to was that I'm not sure. It's not super clear to me what the setup of the scene is, because from the like the mood that I hear from the voices is like this guy is under some threat by another guy, right? But I can't tell if this character is stuck or not, or if he's tied up or something. But he also mostly he looks very sad. He doesn't look afraid. He looks kind of apathetic. So there's that too. So I'm not sure what the mood you're trying to hit is, if he's supposed to be like held captive. But yeah, so
he's
it's just
kind of held captive.
Yeah.
So that's you're right. For sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think just like adding some like polygons, band, like or like straps to him or something. That'd probably do it, just so you know that he's stuck.
And then also maybe if you can get in like some more fear in his eyes, like rather than sad and apathetic, because it kind of like when I see this, it looks like he doesn't really like it. He doesn't care that much somehow. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Yeah. Same kind of thing. Yeah, and for as much like it doesn't feel like he's worried at any point that he's like, oh, like I'm gonna get killed here, or like this guy's gonna beat him up or torture him or something. Like, so yeah, to Marcus's point, maybe just add some fear in his eyes at some point where it's like maybe just a little bit more wide-eyed, maybe a little bit more tense with the brows too. Yeah, here it looks like he's like this frame. It looks like he's stuck in his own thoughts, which is like if I was tied up and being threatened by someone to gouge my eyes out, I don't think I would get lost in my own thoughts.
There's this cool effect where it's like if you get whites above the eyes on both sides, like he can actually look like super worried, right? Like having the lids not occlude the tops of the irises, like starts dialing an intensity. Like your upper lids are basically like that volume meter of intensity. If they're touching the tops of the iris, I can still be like a little bit of an intense of an expression. But if your irises are basically islands, not touching the sides of your eye shapes, like you can get some really intense emotional reaction out of them. Let's see, and then I'd watch out for areas where it's like just having the inners of the brows move. Usually when brows move, it's like you can shape them, but like all muscles are involved every time the brows move, basically. So just make sure that like you're not leaving the main part out when you're doing any kind of like brow acting. And I would be really careful about like firing them up so fast and then bringing back down so fast, right? The muscles of the brows are also kind of like they fire fast and they release slow generally. Like even if you were to like let go, they slow out a lot more gradual than you would like fast in, basically. And then this face also felt like I can see the stretch. I think he's holding like an excessively stretched face for too long. Seeing the scale of the eye actually get a little too large. I'd watch out for that. And what I try to do too is like have a proportion of like upper lids on the eyes, right? So if he is looking up here at the guy, and again, kind of like get a little higher. I'd watch out like how much of the socket is coming out of nowhere, right? Like on this side, we see like maybe this much of the upper lid, but on this side, it gets really long. So I would try to have like the same kind of ratio of like upper lid to socket. I don't know this rig, so I don't know what kind of controls you have. And then the other thing too is like watch out for brows having this kind of like shape where they sort of have this reversal, and I can see that in the bottom here. So I might actually like pull that peak down to maybe help with that, and then straighten out the top brow. And then same with this guy. It's getting a little wobbly in here, so I'd just flatten it out. This is like just tiny appeal notes. But I might still reduce like how much this eye is stretched and how much the nose is stretched. Dude's got a big schnoz.
Yeah, for me, I just try to work on those facial expressions, like each beat, try to nail the facial expression of the emotion that you're trying to convey and work from there.
Yeah. I'd say kind of like a rule of thumb is like when you see sort of like the top half of the skull start deforming, that's when you know it's a little too much. I would try to leave like areas where there's bone to be a lot more rigid. You can do like real subtle squash and stretch in those regions, but like you shouldn't be able to ever see it. It's one of those things that you could only feel. And so as soon as you see it, it's like, okay, a little too far, just like kind of knock that down a little bit and go from there. I like the flinch you do here, like when he gets yelled at.
Back. Give him back to me.
Like the flinch is cool. It's like that's a nice timing right there.
Hits the mood really well. Like he's there he feels kind of afraid when he does that.
Right. And then this the brow here, if we track it through this move, like I like this idea of stretching the face every time you move your head. So if your head's like going from this like up angle to this down angle, in the middle of it, if you stretch, you can get like a really nice kind of built-in squash and stretch just from the facial expression. But in this case, when he does it, the eyebrow is actually like jumping and then falling, and so you get to see it like kind of flop a little bit. I would reduce like how high this arch goes. Right, it kind of turns into a bouncing ball that, like of its own. So instead of having it travel up and down that high, probably travel more of that arc, or even that arc if you can. That just means like in each of those frames back off and how far it rose. Cool. That's it. That's the big stuff for me.
I want my eyes back.
Sorry.
You what?
I'm sorry.
No. I said I want my eyes back. Give them back to me.
I can't.
Why not? You took them.
I would say the eye darts are actually feeling pretty good too. Like when they shift, it's all good stuff, man. There's a lot of subtle stuff happening in here. It was hitting on all cylinders. So yeah, good job.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate the feedback. So thanks so much.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Thanks so much, Con.
Cool.
We had two more, right?
Yeah. So if you got, I know we're running out of time. So if you want to just do like a quick fire runs where try to like just limit, maybe we can just do the last two because I think the last two people are in this meeting. So
as long as they're here.
Yeah, we can start with Mirage. I think it's Mirage, and then Ivan. I highlighted in green. Yeah. Yeah, I highlighted them in green.
All right, let's get them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hey guys.
Hey, Mirage.
Hey, thank you.
Mirage, yes, you can call me Mojtaba. Emoji.
Moji, all right. Thanks for joining us. All right, so any caveats or setups before we hit play?
I don't think. I don't.
Okay. All right, let's hit it.
Did you think you were God, Brandon? Well, I don't know what you thought or what you are. You've murdered!
All right. Some
very cool,
some
man.
fun stuff in here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I had a couple thoughts. This acting shot at the beginning.
Did you think you were God, Brandon?
See,
Well, I don't know what you
as
thought
he's walking, like he feels like very like kind of rigid, straight up and
what you
down,
are.
and so I feel kind of like his presence or his body like kind of being in this like straight line throughout the entire walk, and something about like the mechanics of that feels a little off, right? Like he's just kind of like translating over, but without the sort of lean. I would add just like a little bit of lean and a little bit of tilt to his body, just to help him at least motivate this walk. There's just something about it being like perfectly upright and then just translating over. It feels off to me.
I also try to reduce the up and down movement a little bit and try to find like a nicer rhythm as he walks, because it's quite like you have a little bit of it, but I would probably try to go like dun dun dun, like find a nice up and down where he really takes his steps proudly, but more subtle, because it feels like yeah, exactly. Because if I look at his eyes, for example, it feels like they move up and down quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's like really like bouncy like that, just like you drew earlier.
Cool.
It, like his hip movement is like this, whereas like I would imagine it's like boom, like yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more flat, like he's kind of holding.
Yes.
Like that. Cool. And then something about. I like what you're doing here, where you're like, you are tracking like his eyes, because these have like a nice arc on the way up, and you're holding it still just long enough to be able to like read that before they start moving over. So it's like I am always looking at the eyes, right? So kind of watching that arc, right? Like this actually feels pretty good. I kind of wonder, like, if you were gonna like add some lean in here, you could also reduce how far he moves from over here to over here, right? You could have him like get up to about here, and then start walking, right? Which means like as he's standing up, maybe he's already starting to like lean forward a little bit. His head could be kind of like over here, right? So like standing into a pose as he's gonna start walking. So that way he's already getting there. But I like how you are tracking the eyes through the shot. It makes it so much easier to just follow him. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's all I had to say about the shot.
I thought about the Spider-Man shot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was that it's like I love the idea, but I actually kind of. I would love it if you actually removed the cubes in front of the camera, because I kind of feel like I'm losing it.
Dude,
like
same thing. I was just like, I want to see Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to
cubes.
see that cool action. I want to see you track those arcs, and I want to see what you do with the hip and the weight and everything.
Yeah, like that shot's cool. I mean, it's fine if it's frames, you know?
Yeah. And then another thing too is that I wonder if I can take control real quick.
Oh yeah, please.
So here I love this, but here you cut to this, and then you cut to him to the side. I don't quite. If I imagine looking at this, if I look at his pose from here, and then looking at the pose here, it feels like there's something missing almost. So I kind of want to see him keep going a little bit more. So maybe you just end on, like you keep going from the side, like this shot, and then you just end with this shot, and then cut back.
Oh, I
Simplify
see.
it a little bit, so I can see that arc going for a little bit longer, close up on the face, and then land instead of going
So like
back and
basically
forth.
take out this shot, right? Like go from
Yes,
here.
correct, yeah.
Over to here, and like just keep going.
Yeah, I did an
then
awful
do
job
like
at
the
explaining
close up
that,
of the
but
face.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, I like that idea. That's really cool. Yeah, ending on his highs is cool. I really dig that. and it's in the right spot, right?
Yep.
Boom, and then action, boom, right there. It's cool.
I like the bounce back. It does
Yeah,
really
for
nice.
sure. +1 to all that.
This rock is a little bit
sorry.
confusing to me. It feels like half between a sneak and a heavy lumbering motion. So I would try to probably work a little bit with reference there and try to see what it is that you're actually trying to achieve.
Yeah, it's almost like too much up and down because
Yeah.
it feels like he's real springy, or like he's like trying to like soften each step. And that's what probably makes it feel like a sneak. He's like trying to be real quiet.
Yeah, but the big kind of lumbering motion makes it feel like he's carrying something really heavy. So that kind of makes it feel like not a sneak.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, anyways. Yeah, you wanna...
Cool. Yep. No, that's it. That was it for that one. Let's see. Kid getting up. I would just play this like this is kind of like someone sleeping in class and then you know, like as they sort of snort awake. Like just do it in half the number of frames. So like one of the things I like to do is kind of like my goal almost every shot I animate is try to do every action in as few frames as possible to try to get that real snappy feeling, that real like real tight tight snappiness. And it's basically like as animators, even as we're evaluating reference, like there's always too many frames there that we're trying to describe the motion, and you don't even need half of them. So I would take out like every other frame to start and just see what that looks like.
Yeah, so really, and here you can really play with reference as well. Fine, yeah,
then
record
you get
something
here.
and then retime it, and it really just goes from sleeping and like that,
Yeah.
right? Like
Right.
really go up.
And that's a fun shot to have, like,
Yeah.
especially in your reel, just a character like startling
Yeah.
themselves awake or something. That's nice.
And then they
and
have
it's so
some big beard
relatable
on their face or something.
Oh yeah, exactly. Snot running out of their nose. Spider-Man dancing is always gonna make me laugh. I love that. I don't know why, I just love it. I like this one too. This like the guy sitting down. Boom. Like that kind of snap, but like for the kid like waking up. You know, like that kind of energy. Really, really dig it. Nice smear frame. I really dig it. If you were to track arcs though, the smear is in the exact same spot as the previous frame, and then it's moving forward, and then you get your bouncing ball. This guy needs to be closer to this. Like if you watch the spacing chart, right? Like you want this guy like up here, and then here, then here. So this guy needs to be like that. Cool. Okay.
I would also
And
love
then-
to see some follow through in the feet when he sits down. I love the chair wobble that you have, but I'd like to see more of it and earlier. Like as soon as he touches, the entire chair just rocks backwards, right? And that because it's forced down, I would love to see the feet go up as a counter, like goes right.
Yep. So like in that motion down, you basically like if you were looking at this chair and say it had like a control like right here that rotates it back, you don't want to ease out of that. You just want to like fire out of that real fast because that's that energy transfer going down to then into the back of the rocking.
Yeah, and that in turn makes you could like as soon as he hits the chair, the feet actually go up as well a little bit.
Yeah.
Like with the
Get them
small stuff.
unglued.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's fun.
Let's see. And then this one, it's what's weird is like I almost didn't see what was happening because of all the smears. It's an odd thing where it's like I think your shape work just kind of like hid everything that was happening. Yeah, I don't know what that
also
was.
Like here I would actually look at acrobatic references online and see if I may, because here this is a very awkward pose to start a jump from, right? Like because he basically goes from this to just flip over right away. But I'd expect him to kind of jump and then curl up and then do the flip over. but he begins
Right.
curled up, right? He goes down and then he stays curled while doing the flip.
Yeah, it's like as he's extending, he's also curling, and so it all just kind of
Exactly.
like merges together. Yeah.
That's something that
Point.
I look out for, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I don't know, to me, looking at the stuff you have like earlier on the reel, like the Spider-Man and all that stuff, it feels like mechanically these last two shots are probably your weakest. Like I can see how much you've improved since these shots. And I would say if you're packaging your reel together and you were like going to apply to like Disney or Pixar or something, I'd probably lose these last two. You probably don't need them. And if you're ever wondering like, should I keep the shot on my reel or not? And if you ever actually ask yourself on that question, it's always a no. Like in your, it's tough to say, but like sometimes you're only as good as your worst shot on your reel. Like your best will always be like this leader, and then people like it'll make people keep watching. But then if they see this like kind of decline, and then it ends as like not as good as the first one, people are gonna be left with that last thing in their head. And like, I don't know.
So always a real secret is to begin with your strongest and end with your strongest, right?
Yeah.
Good first impression and leave a strong impression.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, Moji.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's cool to see. Great work.
Right.
Yeah.
Our
Okay.
last
And
one.
Last but not least, Vaughn, Ivan.
Yeah, thank you for staying with us.
Yeah.
All this time.
Said that his English is bad, but he will listen to us. So, yeah, cool.
Okay. All right. Well, let's respond. Oh dang. Man, this is some really cool stuff in here.
That's a lot of work.
This is like all of my favorite action movies. There was some spots that felt just a little like unclear. I really dig that, and I dig that. I'm gonna watch it all the way through. Yeah, I would love, just by the way, as an aside, I would love like a zoom in where we just like we just go straight into like this. Yeah, he just looks and it's just eyes. It's like that Samurai Jack kind of shot. So one of the things that like there were two shots where he lost me, and one was this fist into the ground. Like he punches the guy, but like it's weird. It's like we kind of missed the punch. And so I thought he missed. Yeah, like we don't get to see basically him going through the guy. So I don't know if there's a way to like get this a little bit more clear and see him like punch through the guy, how the guy just like goes spinning or something, and his fist just keeps going into the ground. And so we get to see it's like a clear, like he couldn't stop his own momentum.
Yeah, could you hold on that frame when he
Yeah.
punches the guy, the contact frame?
Oh yeah, let me go back. Like. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, can you see me if I draw? Yes, you can. Okay. Yeah, so this contact, like really play up this frame and try to almost like put this closer towards the center if you can, and really make a meal out of this, and push this pose as much as you can. Like, yeah, I would look at comic books or stuff where they do a lot of jumping punches, because rarely do that in real life. But yeah, and really push this forward, and then push all of this backwards. So like you would have this counter rotation throughout his body, right? As much as possible. This shoulder far forward, and then this leg like way back. right, and make like a really, really strong action pose. I'm drawing with my mouse, which is not great, but yeah, hopefully you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I show as much as you can of that contact point.
Okay. And then, yeah, definitely, absolutely +1. And then, yeah, somehow, I was gonna say like, so, I'm thinking like even if we get a real solid contact, and the guy goes flying or he just goes flipping or something, boom, like maybe we could see like there's got to be a reason for this close up of his fist, right? And it's like I'm guessing it's like to show the power of it. So I might do something where it's like we get like cracks of like the floor like opening up or something, and
You could
just
keep the enemy there. You could have actually like the guy's face right there with his fist into it.
yeah. Oh yeah, he like connects with his fist and
Exactly,
just brings
and
him all the
pushes
way
him
down.
Yeah, very anime.
Yeah.
Like just it connects and then he literally forces him into the ground with the fist
Right.
connecting.
I like that idea too. Cool. Yeah, it's just like there's got to be a reason for this like close up of his fist, and I just want to give even more credence to it. And then, okay, the other thing I had was like the antic for the big guy. Like I didn't get to see enough force. It kind of looks like he just sort of backhands him, like especially when the follow through pose is kind of like open hands. It just kind of looks like he's like smack, and then the guy just kind of goes flying. But I didn't get to see any force behind it. So I wonder if our hero, I'm just gonna call him the hero, even if he's like maybe the antagonist, but like he just needs like a little bit more of an antic. Maybe like sees him and then has a little bit of a wind up and then drive through with the shoulder, then elbow, and then I mean I'm not sure if it is supposed to be a backhand. If it is just like a slap, then like hold that pose, but if it's like an elbow or like a fist that's just supposed to connect to his face, like hold that fist, you know. Yeah, and I almost want like maybe if the camera got over there just like a little earlier, or we had a little bit more time as the guy's running up, the guy coming up could be there's something about his arms where it's like he doesn't look threatening. I don't know what it is.
It looks like the Pokemon from me. He's like,
yeah, he's like, you. Right, yeah. So maybe as he's coming up, maybe have like give him a knife, or like maybe he's holding a fire extinguisher and he's gonna like cram it in his head or something. Yeah, it's just like,
or just put him in like a fist fighting pose or something.
Yeah. Although if he is carrying something, like he's gonna smash him with it, and then our guy hits him, he can go flying back, and then whatever he's carrying can just like land on his face. So you get one of those little like setups and payoffs, like in the middle of your fight.
Yeah. The pose on our hero, or whatever you want to call it, there too. I wonder, you can probably amp that up a little bit too. Like this almost feels like a dance move more than like a fighting move. And we also lose a lot of the silhouette here. But yeah, I would try to see like this arm. I would probably bend it here and like clench like a fist or something like that. And just make this pose feel like a little bit stronger.
Cool. And then this guy, I wonder if there's a way to antic this guy just a little bit, like as the camera gets around. It feels like the connection happens before the camera slows down enough to see it. I would love just like a few more frames of the camera spinning around, guy coming in, and then he's I want to see him block. Right now, it's like the block is happening during the camera move, so I didn't see it. And then the other thing I felt in here was like it feels like his feet are kind of like glued to the ground, like he's got like cartoon glue there, and then he can't move for this. So as you're getting into like this like headbutt or something, I just make that real obvious and just make sure it doesn't feel like he's stuck there.
And probably this, like you could probably go back to that frame there, like this.
Oh, it is a headbutt, but his arm is also kind of covering the head connection part, right? So like maybe like bring the guy's arms like way up or something, like way out of the way, and then you want to be able to see that antic and then the connection of the head.
Yeah, I would try to split
Oh,
up
there
the
you
legs
go.
here too.
I like
Yeah,
that.
and just basically make it so that and then he can probably, like when he leans into it, right? Like,
Yep.
you have this, but I would probably show a little bit more of the chest, show a little bit more of the face up here, and then push this leg way forward, and then like that, right?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. That makes him more grounded and stable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is I feel like he could probably lead into this move way sooner. Like he goes to this, and then there's a pause almost, right? But he can probably do that way quicker. Like he blocks, and then already here, I would probably try to move him into the headbutt quicker. So it feels more seamless rather than like a pause headbutt.
Yeah. Cool. Let's see. Boom. I like that he like throws him into another guy. I think that's really cool. Boom. And then this one. Okay. I thought this was like just a crotch shot for the longest time. And then I noticed the guy in the doorway, like as he started moving. I don't know why, but like because I was looking here and then I went over to here and I just was staring. I'm like, why are we like looking at his crotch? And then it was like, oh, there's a guy here.
To be honest, you can probably just show the hero's feet here or something like that. Have him in a more like neutral pose rather than that, because this pose brings a lot of attention to itself.
Yeah, it's all like the lines, you know, like
Exactly.
just moving into this.
Yeah, so if you just calm down that part, so you can put more attention on the next character that is coming up.
Yeah. And then I do like this. This is cool. Like this little track, like hyper cam, like spinning. But as you do this shot, it would be really cool to get the gun stable in screen space. Right now, when we watch the path of the gun, it's kind of like bouncing around a lot, right? And if you want this thing to track, like the path of this has got to be smooth. And I think once you do have it smooth, it's gonna rock, right? So you can see kind of like the path it takes is like da, 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 da. But like you get this thing to like feel like that, and you know, then into that final pose or something, and like the smoother you make that that path, the easier it is to watch. And then it feels like the camera's like lining up sort of around like the gun and this guy, and then that final aim. Yeah, because this composition's great.
You can probably show some more of the arm and stuff there too, on the dude with the gun, like on the end.
Oh yeah.
The end shot of him, like his arm kind of disappears there, so you can show a little bit more of that, make him stronger.
Yeah. For sure. And then I really dig this. This is like a nice touch, like tilting up to the guy, and then just like the noise you have on the camera is. I'm guessing it's gonna be like this or
The
something,
shots
like
fired.
bullets just. Yeah, like I don't know, like he's got an Uzi, right? And so he's probably like whipping around, just
It's probably
firing
what
like
it's tracking along the ground, right? Like looking
Yeah,
at the
that's
ground
what-
and you see.
That's what I would think, right? And so like hopefully that's where your mind was going. But yeah, that'll be really. I dig that sort of tracking shot. I love the shake you got on it and how he like rolls out of the way just in time.
Here
This is
for
cool. Yeah, go ahead.
For me here, he kind of looks surprised at himself that he has these. He's like, huh? Almost.
Oh.
I would try to make this look more like, basically, you hold this rather.
Yeah, he doesn't have to look at him.
Exactly.
Right,
yeah.
he just pulls him up.
Yep, exactly. He brings those up and then he goes out, right? Because looking at him makes it
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I
Like, where'd you come from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably just make this a little bit quicker. It feels like he's standing around here a little bit too long.
Yeah, that's cool.
I feel like maybe, I maybe even try making this like as he starts looking, he brings up the hand already, rather than having a break here. But it depends on how much of a thinking you want the character to do here. Like, yeah. But you could do like,
Right.
oh shit, what am I gonna do? And then I know, and then he looks to the side as he brings the hand up.
Yeah.
and then he jumps out.
Yep. That's it. Man, it's all cool.
Flourish.
Yeah. That again, like nice rotating camera. It's really cool. And then just zoom into his eyes.
Wait, hold on, I want to see that. 1 second. He goes dunk, dunk. Here, I think you could add to comedy if he actually lets go, and then the character is still there and just slowly starts stripping down, but he's not holding him anymore. He's like smashed into the wall, and he lets go. The other character,
right? He just like pushes him in, and it just lets, yeah.
And that's when the hero kind of looks back to the camera, right? As that is going down.
Yeah.
Funny.
That's cool, man.
Nice work.
Yeah, and then ending on the eyes, like that sounds cool. Just make it like maybe tilt his head down just a little bit more, so that way you get that kind of cool thing.
Yeah, very nice. Nice progress. That's a lot of work too.
Yeah.
Huge action shots today.
Yeah, this
Cool.
is great. Thanks so much, Yvonne.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for showing
thank you
it.
for sharing.
Cool. That's it. Man, that was like probably the longest event that we had.
Yeah, thank you everyone for sticking around.
Yeah.
That was fun though. That was so much fun. To
Yeah,
see
that's
everything.
super fun. So yeah, for those who remain, thank you for showing up, and for those who are watching it on Twitch, thank you for joining us as well. So yeah, if you guys enjoy this, hopefully, if we have the time, we'll try to host another one. And if you guys were interested, especially in these wonderful mentors who gave their time today, they are available for the mentorship program for the upcoming term. It'll start in October. So yeah, you can visit the website if you are interested to get more feedback, because like the feedback that we gave today are very kind of like like a bigger notes and kind of loosely based on like what we can give at the moment. But like in the actual mentorship, we'll probably dive even deeper to kind of like get really like nitty gritty with like the foundation, the mechanics, and the polish and whatnot. So this is just like a small glimpse of like what type of feedback we try to provide. So yeah, so if you guys are interested, feel free to check out the website. But yeah, thank you guys for joining.
Yeah, thank you so
Thanks,
much.
everybody.
It was great to see everything.
Great.
Awesome animation.
Sweet. All right, we'll end